Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Wayne Elliott. I'm a natural health advocate and have been for over 20 years since meeting Jim Strauss Sr. That was the most fortunate day of my life, meeting Jim. And previous to that, I guess the most fortunate day was starting on the Strauss Heart Drops several months before I met Jim. I want to first say this is not an advertisement for Strauss. This is me talking about my extensive experience over 20 odd years. Certainly some of his teachings that has helped me understand what I believe I do. And my own personal experience, my own body, and various supplements like Strauss Heart Drops, the experience of many family, close friends, ex-teammates, thousands of people that I talked to at lectures and radio shows over the years. And in everyday life, I'll talk to anybody who will talk to me about this stuff. So these are my opinions through my personal experience only. It's the only thing I will talk about is things that I'm like from Missouri, the show me state. I believe nothing that I hear and have to see with my own eyes. So please trust me that this is 100% my own personal experience, opinions, and things that I've developed through the teachings of Jim Strauss Sr. Jim Strauss had several beliefs and theories that were kind of his trademark, and he said them many times. He said them at lectures, and one was, if you're not made from it, it cannot fix you. In other words, to expect chemicals to cure or fix us would be like taking our car to the lumber yard to try and repair with 2x4 lumber. He'd say you can't do it. You need materials the automobile's made from, steel and rubber and copper wire and the rest, and our bodies, he'd say, are no different. The only things that can truly cure or fix us are cells and that we're made from. And hence the great success with some natural formulas and supplements that we've seen over history. We're made from those cells, so it makes sense. Another thing that Jim would always say is that everything that our bodies need has been provided by nature. And I've come to believe all these things just through my own personal experience. And I do believe that's certainly true, that everything that we'll need or ever need is provided by nature. Just not too many years ago, Jim discovered 3 antibiotic herbs in the lower mainland BC, and he told me that we don't have any sickness for them yet. And I said, so what does that mean to you? He said, there's more ailments and diseases coming, because everything that we need, nature has provided. He had just never seen these 3 that were antibiotic herbs before. One other thing that he would say is that for natural formulas to work as intended, you of course need all of the proper ingredients, but most importantly, in the proper proportion. And Jim would refer to our mothers or our grandmothers or a fine chef making a nice meal or a soup and always tasting it before serving it to the family or the friends or customers, just to make sure it didn't need a little something more to perfect it. And he always said that natural supplements and medicines were the same thing, needed all those proper ingredients in exactly the right proportion, which of course the Strauss craft was done by taste, quite a unique method that the Strauss family had over the 8 generations that they've been making supplements and natural medicines. Jim Strauss always said, to make great natural medicine, you need the right ingredients in the perfect proportion. And this is some formula, I can assure you. As I do on the radio all the time, I swear with my life that you cannot be hurt and you will not be disappointed with the Strauss Heart Drops. They are the perfect ingredients in the perfect proportion to do what they're designed to do, and that's to make blood flow everywhere you have an artery, vessel, or vein to carry it, to the tiniest capillaries in your skin. If you're grayish blue skin right now and you take Strauss Heart Drops, I can tell you from experience, you will soon have even colored. You won't be gray and blue because you will have blood flow to your skin. And that's always an indicator. Even color is very important. Not to be grayish blue is very important. So we all probably know or have seen people like that. And I always stress a little bit when I do see people, and I always talk to them about the heart drops and ask them about their health. So you are meant to have even color because that means blood is flowing right out to your skin. That's our largest organ. There are just so many things that can be affected by your blood flow, and so many things that can be negatively affected when you have no blood flow, or certainly reduced blood flow to any part of your body, right down to the tiniest vessels. We are meant to have full blood flow everywhere we have a vessel, in those many miles of veins and vessels and arteries that we have in our body, and capillaries, miles and miles of them. We are meant to have them full of blood. And when we don't, there'll be an issue of some kind eventually. The body's a pretty amazing machine when you think of it, much better than any man-made machine. Our car couldn't go long at all without oil or fuel if that flow was restricted. So the human body is quite an amazing machine, and it does know what to do with natural ingredients, so natural substances. It does not know what to do with chemicals, and that's why a lot of the heck from pharmaceuticals and other chemicals in our lives, emissions, the 160,000 airplane flights a day, the chemicals we're surrounded with in our homes, we wash with, clean with, wash our clothes with, sometimes our skin and our hair with, brush our teeth with. We are surrounded by chemicals. We all know what chlorine does when we swim in a swimming pool, where chlorine is used. Well, now it's in drinking water in many cities. So imagine what it might be doing to our insides. Jim Strauss always believed, and I'm certainly convinced, that causes of cancer, major causes of cancer, are chemicals and genetically modified foods, man-made foods. Some call them Franken foods. Looks like an orange, tastes like an orange, must be an orange. Well, no, it isn't. There haven't been any natural oranges in a long time. There hasn't been any natural corn in decades. These man-made foods, Jim Strauss said many years ago, they lack the enzymes. We're born with a handful of enzymes. If we use them up, we're dead. And we cannot duplicate nature. We know that. Everyone knows that. And yet we've tried to do that with our foods, and they've done a good job at making them look good and taste good, many of them. But those missing enzymes, that's where Strauss always warned the trouble would be. Since scientists have told us there's actually some further harm potential with genetically modified foods. The shocking thing is, it's very tough to get by without them, since 93% of products in our grocery stores are or contain genetically modified organisms. So it's harder and harder to eat properly every day, to eat healthy, to eat organic, natural foods. I mean, they have organic, seedless grapes. Organic, man-made, artificial, if you will, grapes. I would rather have the natural foods that were here from the beginning and that we're meant to have. So these, combined with the chemicals that are surrounding us in our lives, Strauss always believed were the major causes of cancer, which today is at almost epidemic proportions compared to when I was young. I would say that go back 50 years, probably very few people knew someone with cancer. Fast forward to today, who doesn't know someone with cancer? It's again, just the disease has, like diabetes, gone to almost epidemic stages. Seedless foods. It takes a seed to reproduce anything in this world. A pine tree, a human being, a giraffe, a frog, they all take a seed. And so to have seedless foods, or foods that have seeds you can't do anything with, and I suppose that's to help trick us that we're eating natural food, It seems kind of evil to me, but seedless foods cannot reproduce themselves. Therefore, they have weak immune systems themselves. We eat the seedless foods, and what would you suspect happens with our immune system? It can become weaker. There are new syndromes and diseases, it seems, all the time. As the old saying goes, we are what we eat. Well, a lot of the things that we eat now are not natural. They are not as nature intended them. Some of them do not have seeds. And this weak immune system of the plant itself, to make things worse, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, and different fertilizers and so forth are needed all the time on these foods that lack their own strong immune system. So on top of it all, there's more chemicals than ever on our foods. It's a bad combination. So as difficult as it is, we should do our best to eat good foods and natural foods, but there's never been a time where supplementing our health with various supplements. For example, I take full spectrum minerals because for years we've known that our soil generally is depleted of minerals. So if it isn't in the food, you need to get it somehow. You maybe suffer cramps, leg cramps, foot cramps at night. Make sure you're drinking enough water and consider full spectrum minerals because it's what's missing from a lot of our foods. The natural medicine, again, like the Strauss heart drops, folks, they work despite the pharmaceuticals. Our doctors are taught in medical school they cannot recommend natural medicine to you. It's against the rules of the College of Physicians and Surgeons. And primarily that's because they don't know if there's any effect in combination with their pharmaceuticals. What I find bewildering is when they do clinical studies, they need clean bodies. You can't be on any pharmaceuticals when you're a test study candidate. You must have a clean body in that respect. And then they test one at a time on people who are not taking any other pharmaceuticals. Now, what ends up happening to many people is they're taking 4 or 5, 8, 10 different chemical drugs. No one's done a study on that. They study them one at a time. I don't think our bodies know what these chemicals are doing inside us, and I don't think the chemicals themselves necessarily know what each other are doing. So this is not a promotion for chemical drugs. It's really a caution. Further today, our system really is broken because every disease is on the rise. Doctors have never been busier. Pharmacists have never been busier. And just recently, pharmacists have admitted that they cannot take the time to read sometimes the hundreds of pages they would have to read for side effects, contraindications between drugs to fill your prescription. These are busy people, so you could imagine if they had to read even 10 pages before filling your prescription, they couldn't do it. Now, I don't know why there isn't a computer program to do this, to help the pharmacists protect us, because they are there to protect us when they dispense the drugs, or why there isn't the same system that doctors perhaps could use to ensure that we aren't prescribed drugs that contraindicate with one another. But apparently there is no such system available today. So, folks, we have to watch out for ourselves. If you are taking pharmaceuticals, please read the paperwork that comes with it. Pay attention to it, focus on it, and make sure you're not taking something that could harm you together with something else that you're taking. I'm happy to say that Strauss heart drops and many natural formulas otherwise don't have those risks and dangers. Your body knows what to do with them. If you don't need them, just like if you ate too many apples like I did on Apple Day as a Cub Scout, your body will get rid of them safely and naturally. And just generally, folks, in closing, just a few things. Make sure you drink plenty of water. It's nature's best blood thinner, and you need it for many things, including creating the mucus to clear out your sinus, clear out your respiratory. So drink plenty of water. It's about the best thing you can drink. Get some exercise. The good Lord gave us legs and arms for a reason. Even if it's just a leisurely stroll, it's a wonderful thing for you. It's the best way to burn off what I call bad energy. Eat some fresh vegetables, eat some fresh fruits. Try and stay away from all the packaged foods, the heavy salt, the heavy sugar, the refined carbs, as few baked goods as possible. Love your family, be happy, and take your Strauss heart drops. You won't be sorry. You have my word on it. I swear to you with my life. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless you.